some lines are, we are putting what? The magnetic waves. The magnetism, the magnetic waves surrounding that Vedanta is the whole universe. It's a symbolically the whole universe. Why I say this? When we read Maharishi's teachings and philosophy and books, in everything we see a different interpretation. Everything we see, we get a different interpretation. So when I see now daily in the house the Rangoli, the whole universe comes to me. The Vedants are there as dots. The magnetic waves are going there. The entire universe is here. How symbolically the whole thing is represented. Therefore, there is no place here where we don't have the magnetism. The whole magnetism is there. And the next important point is that how do we interact? How do we interact? No system in the universe is isolated. There is no system in the universe is isolated. If there is a tree, if there is a rose flower there, if I am here, we get interaction. The smell comes to me. So we get interaction. I say, oh, there is a beautiful rose flower. It is not an isolated one. So no system in the universe is isolated. Everything is interacting with any other thing. Now how this interaction comes, that also Maharishi's philosophy explains how it comes. If we take the magnetism, various elements is there. We get the electric lamp is there. We get the light from the electrical lamp. How do we get the light from there? When the wire is there, wire is what? Wire is a metal, it is what after all? It is a collection of Vedants. Interspace is what? Magnetism. The magnetism in the wire, I am making it to transform into light. So the magnetism in the small wire there, it gets transformed as light, it comes to me. Now I am speaking now. Then what I create in the air medium, the magnetism in me goes to the air. And that air carries to you as what? As the sound. So the magnetism can transform itself as what? As a sound. It is because of this transformation we interact. Otherwise, if we don't have the transformations, we cannot interact. This will be isolated, that will be isolated. But now there is no isolation, everything is interacting. It is because of the physical transformations of the magnetism. Now suppose we have a liquid, say a coffee. After all, what a coffee is? It is what? It is a collection of Vedants, and inside the space is what? Magnetism. But now that magnetism, how it appears to me, how it gets transformed to me, when I taste it, it comes to me the magnetism as the taste. So what is taste in the coffee? What is smell in the flower? What is the light in the lamp? All these things are what? All these things are the magnetism in them. The magnetism in the flower comes to me as smell. The magnetism in the filament comes to me as light. The magnetism in the coffee, I say it is tasty. So the taste, smell, all the physical properties, they are only conversion of the magnetism in the body. Therefore now the whole picture is complete now. The entire physical universe is a collection of Vedants and Yogans. Now the intensity of the Yogan determines its quality, the quality of the element. And the physical transformations they make as interacting between the different systems. The different systems interact. There is nothing called isolation here. A small great poet will say, the whole physical universe is only one. There is nothing called this universe is separate from that universe. To strengthen that, that poet will say, you cannot pluck a flower without disturbing a distant star. You cannot pluck a flower here without disturbing a distant star. Why? Because when you pluck a flower, you are making a small changes. These small changes you have made here, the magnetism field is there. In the magnetism field it travels. The small disturbance you have created here, it travels and it affects every universe, every star. So the whole magnetism is there linking us. That is the universal magnetism we have. When the same universal magnetism is in me, is in the living being, we give a different name for that. The different name is that when it is in a living being, we call it biomagnetism. Because this is also is nothing but a collection of what? This is also, the body also is nothing but a collection of Vedans and the magnetism in between. Now, this magnetism in the living being, how it gets transformed, that also you must see, how it gets transformed. The magnetism in the living being. The magnetism in air comes as a sound wave. The magnetism in the filament comes as the light for me. The magnetism in the flower comes as a smell. The magnetism in the coffee comes as the taste. Similarly, the magnetism in this living being comes out as what? It comes out as the mind. Because we interact by the mind. When we see each other, we interact through our mind. How do we interact? The biomagnetism in me extends to you, and that comes to you as my mind. So the mind is also a physical transformation of the magnetism, the biomagnetism in me. Therefore, everything which we see in the universe, either in the living being or in the inanimate, it is a magnetism and their physical transformations. Now when you say the biomagnetism, that comes as the mind, we must say also one example. Suppose there is a rose flower. The rose flower, I am plucking the rose flower and I am putting on the table. Initially, the magnetism in the flower is very rich. So I get a smell, beautiful smell I get. Slowly what happens? Slowly the magnetism in that fades away, and after some time I don't get the smell. Similarly, when the biomagnetism in me is rich, when the biomagnetism in me is very rich in quantity and quality, my mind goes everywhere, right up to the universe. It interacts to you. But when the biomagnetism goes on decreasing in me, what happens? The mind does not come out of that. The mind gets shrunk. Therefore, if I want to have a development of a mind, what should I do first? I must develop the biomagnetism in me, because that is my mind. So to develop the biomagnetism in the living being, what are the ways? And that also Maharishi has given you the tabulation. What are the ways to improve the biomagnetism in us? What are the things which we must do to improve, and what are the things which we should not do to preserve the biomagnetism? Rather, you must say that this is a great machine working on the biomagnetism. It has to work for about 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, 110 years, or 120 years. It has to work. But this machine, we don't care for this. What we should do, what we should not to do, we don't care for this. And that is precisely the trouble that we are facing today. But if you go to a shop, if you buy a mixie, which it is going to come only for 2 years or 3 years, for that mixie you demand a pamphlet. You demand a pamphlet with the shop wala, what is the do's and don'ts. And then you see the pamphlets, there are things, don't do this, don't do that, or do that, like that. For a poor that mixie you are demanding a pamphlet. Have we ever demanded a pamphlet for this beautiful machine, which is going to be there for 100 centuries? We have not cared for to get the pamphlet for that. And therefore, we do not know how to operate it. How to operate it properly, we do not know. Therefore, though it is destined to live for 120 years, by a wrong operation, I finish it within 40 years. Because I have not cared to operate this in the way it has to be operated. Now Maharishi comes, what are the ways that this machine has to be operated, so that the biomagnetism in me is, in the machine is always rich, so that your development of the mind is at the peak. When you have the development of the mind at the peak, you are at the peak of the jnana. Everything is okay for you. Now, do's and don'ts. What you should do now to improve the biomagnetism, that is the simple, the exercises and the kaya kalpa. The Kayakalpa technique and the exercises are there to improve the biomagnetism and a free flow of the biomagnetism in us. There must be a free flow. So for that you must keep the body in a trim way so that there are no blocks here. If you talk about the body and the biomagnetism, yes, it's a very simplified version Maharishi has given, very simplified version. We have seen a wire through which we pass current. Now when we see a wire there, current is passing. After all, what do we mean by current? What is it we are doing there? What do you mean by the current? The science says that the electrons there, they flow. The minute particles, electrons there, they flow. When they flow, they create a power which we call current. And when the current flows through the wire, you will know that, all of us will know that a magnetic field is automatically created. When the current flows through a wire, a magnetic field is automatically created. So the wire, the current, associated magnetic field there. That's a physical magnetic field with a wire. Same thing with us. The wire is the body here. The body is there. And now here, how the current, the life current, how it is produced by the circulation of Vedans. The Vedans, they get circulated. Since the Vedans, they get circulated, that is the life. And so they are called the life force particles. Another name for Vedana is that life force particle. The Vedans circulating in me, they produce the life force. That is the life. And these Vedans whirling also, they produce also the magnetic field in between, and that is the biomagnetism, and that is a causal body. So I have three things in me. The physical body, which is something like the wire, the physical body. Then the flow of the Vedans, the astral body. And the third one is the causal, the magnetic body. So the three combinations are there in me. Now prior to this, I must admit that prior to studying Maharishi's philosophy, I have also gone through several other kinds of philosophies. But what a complicated way of telling things. In Maharishi, the whole thing becomes simple. Three things are there as if we see the wire. A physical body, an astral body, which is the flow of the Vedans, and because of the flow of the Vedans and rotation of the Vedans, we have the magnetism, biomagnetism produced, and there is a causal body. So all these things is integrated is the human being. Therefore, how to maintain the biomagnetism in me, how to make it rich, do's, what are the do's? Do's is exercise and kayakalpa we must be doing. What are the things that don't? We are spending biomagnetism in various ways without knowing that. Various ways. When I get angry, I am spending the biomagnetism. Why should I get angry? Because I am greedy. When that does not happen, I become angry. If I don't get what I should not get, what I don't aspire to get, I don't get angry. But unnecessarily I aspire for certain things. I become greedy. Then when I don't get that, I become angry. So that way we are spending. So Maharishi says, there are certain habits in us which are draining away our biomagnetism. So we must rationalize that first. To strengthen the biomagnetism in us, let us not be greedy. Avoid that. Then the passion. When you have the passion, it also leads to anger. For a simple example, how do we get the passion creates in me an anger? Suppose there is a compound wall, we have adjacent neighbor is there. There is a rose flower tree plant here. The plant has become high enough and gives a few roses on the other side of the compound wall. If that child plucks that, will I tolerate that? Do I have the mind to tolerate that? Here I consider my child as my child. Passion. I don't consider the other child also as a child. Therefore, when the other child comes and plucks that, I am not able to tolerate that. That is also a child, this is also a child. But we don't see that as a child because we have a passion here, it is my child. So the possessive nature is that we should avoid. So you have the 6 characters that we have to reorganize. Being greedy, passion, anger, the illegal sex, and ego. I am superior, he is inferior, that ego, and also intrigues, cheating others by unnecessary, by tricky methods. All these things when we do, we are spending our biomagnetism. Far from you are causing anything to others, first defect is that you are causing danger to yourself first. That is the way you are spending your biomagnetism. So that biomagnetism spending you must stop. Then you must reorganize all your habits. So on one side, avoid spending. On the other side, create biomagnetism by the exercises, the meditation technique, and the Kayakalpa. When you come to meditation technique, how it improves our biomagnetism. Because the biomagnetism in me, it is a part of the magnetism elsewhere. It is with the link with the elsewhere. Elsewhere there is universal magnetism that also flows through me, and it is here I call it biomagnetism. Therefore, I can get my magnetism directly from the universal field. Then I can enrich. But that method, that technique we do not know. But the great rishis, sages, they have become masters of that technique. They simply lock and be there for 5 months, 1 year, 3 years in those years, just getting their magnetism directly from the universal magnetism. They are linked with that. Therefore, that technique, we must develop that, linking our biomagnetism, getting the biomagnetism directly from the universe. Therefore, when you are in the meditation, you are taking the mind means what? Your biomagnetism. You are stretching your biomagnetism to the sun, to the stars, to the physical universe, to the field of Shiva, that eternal state. You are expanding your mind. When your mind gets extended further, it comes into contact with the universal magnetism there. And then when you come back, and you have all those universal magnetism enriched, you are shrinking down, you are coming back to you. So you have enriched your biomagnetism in the meditation process. When you are painting, when you have a brush, you dip the brush in the ink and you are painting. When it gets dried, what you do? Again you dip it there. And again it becomes fresh, you start like that. So when you become dry, what you do? Do meditation. Go to the Shakti Kala. Go to the Shiva Kala. Extend your mind and mingle with that. The universal magnetism is there, and then come back. Your biomagnetism gets enriched. So what are the ways that you must get enriched the biomagnetism? Enrichment alone is not enough. You must also spend it carefully. What are the drains you have? Avoid that. So when you avoid your drains, when you enrich, you get a beautiful developed mind, and that is a real jnana. And when you get a real jnana, then everything becomes clear for you, where from I have come, where from my beginning is there. All those things become clear, and then you call that you have become a self-realized person. You have become realized about yourself, where it belongs to, where it came from, and what you should do to others. All this clarity has come, so you have become a self-realized man. For a self-realized man, you don't have to go to Himalayas and sit there as a stone is doing that, not necessary. Vivekananda says this, as to self-realize, to accumulate the jnana in you. Be as you are, accumulate the jnana in you. And that is a real self-realization. When I have that self-realization, what's the side effect is that when I realize that I have come from the primordial state, then I realize that not only me, everyone has come from the primordial state. I have the right to exist as everybody else has got the right to exist here. So there is nothing called superior, there is nothing called inferior, all are equal. So let me treat everybody with an equanimity, with equality, and that is the universal brotherhood. Treat everybody as your own brother. Because you are a part of that, the same thing he is also part of that. All of you have come from the same beginning. Therefore, let us be compassionate to all. So basically, let us promote love to all. And that is the preach of every religion. love to all. Because why? Because once I realize that all of us have come from the same thing, then what's the difference between you and me? Therefore a Sufi will say, a Sufi statement is that when I am myself, I am the other. The statement is that when I am myself, I am the other. That means when I have realized myself, I realize the other also. Because others also have come from the same thing. So when I realize myself, I realize everything. Then comes, if I realize really in my mind that everything has come from that godly primordial state, then the love in me pours out. I become a different person. I become compassionate to everybody. The love pours out. And that is the essence and the goal of the life. We have the capacity to pour out the love to everybody. But now we are not able to, because the whole our unnecessary habits are hiding that, are preventing that. The passion is preventing that. The greediness is preventing that. So remove all those things, then the love starts pouring out. And for that pouring out, we must enrich the biomagnetism in us. Therefore, once we understand the universal magnetism and the biomagnetism, we become self-realized. We become one and the same. And it is towards that self-realization that Maharishi has taken us through the course Brahmajnana. And as seen from the philosophical side, what is the greatness of this? When I study this course on Brahmajnana, when I come that I must love everybody because I and everybody has come from the same thing, I come to the core of every religion. Every religion has the same core. Therefore, the study of biomagnetism makes me to go to the real core of the religion. I may belong to Hindu, or somebody else Islam, or somebody else Christianity. Go to the core of the religion. How do you go to the core of the religion? Become self-realized. The only way to become self-realized is the understanding of the universal magnetism and its link with the biomagnetism. Then we understand the core of my religion. When I understand the core of my religion, I am a true Hindu. When an Islam understands the core of the religion, he is a true Muslim. And when a Christian does, he is a true Christian. Therefore, the teaching is that let us not convert from this to that. Let us, if you are a Hindu, be a Hindu, but be a realized Hindu. If you are a Muslim, be a Muslim, but be a realized soul of the Muslim. If you are a real Hindu, you are automatically a real Muslim. You are automatically a real Christian. And now a step further, Maharishi's philosophy goes that a step further, it not only makes a Hindu real Hindu, a Muslim real Muslim, a Christian real Christian, it makes also a scientist real scientist. And that is the crux of this philosophy. So far the philosophies have not touched the scientists. Even in the Indian context, we have many sages and saints coming. We have got a long list. But so far no philosopher has really worried about the scientific context and have advised them do this or don't do this, the scientists. But Maharishi comes as the first philosopher of this land who also advises the scientist be a real scientist. So this understanding of the self-realization through the universal magnetism and biomagnetism makes us to be a real Hindu, to be a real Muslim, to be a real Christian, and above all to be a real scientist, and finally to be really a man. To be really a good citizen, this is the sure path. So with that appeal to you, I come to you that such a simple philosophy Maharishi has given to us, but normally the curse of the society is that we don't realize a Mahan so quickly. The society normally does not realize a Mahan so quickly. When Buddha came, when Siddhartha became Buddha, the Indian soil did not recognize that. And when Socrates came, the Greek soil did not recognize that. And the Israeli terrains, when the Mahan Jesus came, the Israelians they did not recognize Jesus Christ. The people in the Arabian desert did not recognize the Muhammadan Nabi. So normally the saints and philosophers, they are not normally recognized. But, pardon? It is a matter of our preoccupation with already things. We are preoccupied with so many things in the hand that we don't recognize the new things. So to understand the new thing, we must shed the previous load, which normally people are not doing. That's the problem there. But whether we understand or not, the nature, the primordial state does not worry about that. Whenever there is a need in the society, the primordial state keeps sending that. Whether we recognize or that, it does not care. And now, where is the need now? That also must see. Where is the need now for a great Mahana? Where is the need? There is a need now. It's because once upon a time, 5,000 years ago, the Hinduism came. The Hinduism came on a highest platform and highest philosophy it came. When somebody asked what is the beginning, our sages in the Vedic age, in the Upanishad, what they have told, what was the beginning? That beginning is beyond our human comprehension. Achintaya, avyakta, nirgunaya, no form. Nirgunaya, gunatmane. At the same time, you can attribute any form. Nirgunaya, gunatmane, samasta jagat adar murtaya brahmane namaha. It called that single thing as the Brahman. And when those ages, when we came down, when the Hinduism was given down the ages, we have fallen. For that whole Brahman, which created the entire universe, Jagat Samasta Jagat Ada, for that we have attributed our own small shapes and shades. When we attribute the shapes and shades, we have degraded that to our level. Therefore, Hinduism finally, after 5,000, 7,000 years ago, now what is it that we have reached out of that Vedic sayings? The Vedic sayings have not reached us now. What is it we have got now? We have got only two things now. What? The coconut and the hundi. The coconut and the hundi in the temple. That is all we have got now as Hinduism. Even there I used to say there is an exploitation even there. You break the coconut, let us break the hundi. Even there is an exploitation. So the whole thing has come down. It is not only with the Hinduism, it is with all the religions. Love, that is the supreme thing that a man can do, told Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ requested only one thing. You cannot love the entire humanity, it doesn't matter. You cannot love the entire people in the nation, even that does not matter. Even if you are not able to love the entire people in the street, doesn't matter. At least love thy neighbor. Jesus Christ was there. Love thy neighbor 2,000 years ago. But when the same Christianity handed over different ages, we have lost the real Christianity. We have got only the rituals. It has become for us simply a Sunday affair. That is not the real Christianity. That is not the real Hinduism. Even the Islam, when we have the universal brotherhood. Islam preached the universal brotherhood. On the last day of the judgment, Muhammad Nabi says, I will weigh you with a precious scale. What good you have done, what bad you have done, I will take that into account and pass on the judgment. But that we have forgotten now. The universal brotherhood we have forgotten. Therefore, we are now not the really religious people. The whole confusion is there in the world. And to avoid the confusion, to erase all these things, to make us to understand what is the core of the religion, Mahan is required, and therefore we have today Yogiraj Vyathatri Maharishi in the form that he is today. Therefore his preachings are the Brahmanyana, the concept of universal magnetism, biomagnetism, all purely global. Everywhere I can go this and I can say, I can preach the same thing in Russia or in America, because it's all scientific. So this has removed all the boundaries between the different religions, and it has shown the way to the core of every religion. And this Mahan is living today, and we are all happy that we are living in his age. And not only in the same age, we are living nearer to him. And therefore we have a greater responsibility of understanding this, making our life worth living like this, making our life worth living as a disciple, as a guru, as a follower or a disciple of Mahan. We must convert our life worth that, and by that we must preach this to the entire humanity. So it is given to you only to give to others. The Bible says statement is that whatever given to you is only to give to others. Therefore the whole Brahmajnana, the philosophy of Maharishi, is given to you only to give to others. And let us all dedicate our remaining life in spreading this message from this land to the whole world, that the rituals may divide us, but essentially we are all one. And the future of the humanity lies in understanding the oneness. Therefore, if we want to live, if the humanity wants to perceive further, it wants to go further, we must see the oneness in everything, and that oneness comes to us through the philosophy of our Maharishi. Therefore, with this appeal, with this request to you, I am extremely happy to talk to you certain ways, certain things that I have learnt from our Maharishi's philosophy, and it is our duty that to spread this to the entire humankind. Thank you very much. வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Friends, let us thank Dr. Kalagar Ramanujam for giving a lecture on yoga and Veda, biomagnetism and universal magnetism.